gentlemen, welcome on in to 0 Hour. It's me, it's Extra Zero. We're doing it a little bit different tonight because it's a Wednesday night, and I postponed it. I had some stuff going on last night, and I was like, you know what? If I postpone it a day, it's the 1 year anniversary since I kicked off this show, since I kicked off 0 Hour. If you're new here, welcome on in. Really, I love that, I do this live show once a week. I make it an interactive thing. So if you're watching me here live on YouTube, we got that live chat over there. We've already got some folks in there chiming in. So don't be a stranger, because I like to make you guys a part of the show. And tonight's a little bit different because we got a lot of guests. We got a lot of guests that you know and probably, hopefully love. And we'll get them introduced in just a second. But before we do, if you're watching me here live or you're watching me here in the replay, go ahead and hit that like button, because it does help me out in the algorithm. They've got the hype button now. I'd appreciate it if I could get this show some exposure. And if you're not already subscribed, hopefully tonight is the night that I earn your subscription. So consider hitting that subscribe button and ringing that bell if you like what you see here. So I'm not going to waste any time. I'm not going to drag along. Let's get our guests introduced. First, we got a guy that I've been friends with for a very long time. Probably 8 years now. We got John Hanson, the Jack Nerd. John, how the hell are you doing tonight?
You're all right, buddy. How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic, man. So thank you for coming on in. You run Fanboy Studios. You do a lot of Transformers content. You do a lot of stop motion content and a lot of lives. Next, I hate rushing through. We'll get everybody in. Just get everybody introduced, then we'll start kicking things off. We got somebody that you love, and you've probably clicked on a bunch of his videos. My old friend, T-Man 978.
Hey there, everybody. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day or night. And yeah, I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you here. I know a lot of people were asking for it. They missed the old conversations. So we're going to give the people what they want tonight. And last, but certainly by no means least, they call him Patriot Prime.
Showing what's new.
And you get that, it's funny, like you get the haters out there, but I tell you, every time that damn song gets stuck in my head, it's like,
it was just such a quirky thing I come up with, because we had just came back from a vacation in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, country music blaring everywhere. And Cato, I'll blame him. He's in the chat. He's the one that started doing that AI music stuff.
Songify.
Yeah, Songify, whatever it was. I can't even remember the site I used. But I went on this site and I tried rock and roll, because I'm a rock guy. So I kept trying to come up with rock songs, and they all sucked. So I thought, well, let's just do country. And that first one that they call me Patriot Prime was the first one. I thought, this thing sounds great, but I need to rewrite it. So it gave me the option where I could go in and rewrite the entire song. So I did all the lyrics, kind of poking fun at my channel, and there we go.
And meanwhile, this dude he was the trendsetter doing the whole, I'm going to take some copyright-free music and just make my own lyrics.
Oh, yeah.
Click the videos.
That music was stuck in my head, and then one day I was like, the lyrics just came to me. But I have one of those AI songs as well. I just never released.
Well, little secret sauce. One of the things I crap on Restream all the time, but this background music, they do AI generated background music, and I know a lot of people hate AI. I think it has its uses, but I also love the fact that I can do this like generated music, and I never have to worry about any copyright strikes.
Well, that's kind of part of the idea with mine, because I had like different songs. For the longest time, I had that Hulk Hogan song. And as soon as I got monetized, there the copyright strikes started coming. So then I got some other song. It was on my Power Director in their song library. Used it for a while. It started getting copyright. Then I picked another song. It got copyright. So I was like, well, we'll just do an AI song. A year so far, I've been good.
I mean, it's good to know that it works, and I hope that it doesn't change. I hope they don't just start flagging people for it, because again, people have this, we'll just call it a hate boner for AI. I know, you don't want to go to a convention and sell AI art, but I do feel like there's a place for it. As somebody that works in the tech industry, I do think there's a place for it. And as a meme maker, sometimes I don't make AI memes, but sometimes if I need a very elaborate or specific background, like a giant toilet for Deluxe to sit on that just doesn't exist in real life. the power of ChatGPT compels me to make those things that make like 2 or 3 people laugh.
Now, where's the thing I made today? I can find it. I have no idea where this. Oh yeah. So I decided with October I needed something for my profile pic for Patriot Prime, so I had AI make that for me.
There you go. And again, not everybody's skilled in Photoshop, and if you're running, again, I think all of us we do this, for. I mean, I don't even get paid now. I am grateful. I think I just hit 300 subscribers, so I'm grateful for all of y'all that have hit that button, and hopefully I can get up to 500 and get Restream. That's all I want is Restream to pay for itself. But I think that's the other thing too is people don't understand how much graphic design costs, and it does give small creators a bit of a an edge when it comes to looking more professional in the in the scope, because there's, again, how many, I think they said that nobody could watch all of what's on YouTube in their lifetime, and it keeps, I think you need 2.5 lifetimes to watch what's currently on YouTube. That gives you an idea of how many creators are out there. Not to mention all the old stuff that's still on there. Yeah. Because every now and then on my homepage, I'll see a video from like 15 years ago. Yeah, or what's crazy is my original shots are still up there from, oh God, I think we're going on 18 years ago. Wow. Yeah. And the crazy part is I was like a 21-year-old that looked like he was 14.
Yeah. I'm still getting comments on videos that I put up 10 years ago. Wow. Especially that one where I did how to open a fruit cup without spilling.
Oh, yeah.
I get a comment. I get like 3 comments on that a month.
Let's see. It will embarrass me. I did react to one on the channel. I don't know if y'all saw that. I did that earlier in the year. But if I go back to like my original stuff on here and go under my videos, I'll give you all a glimpse of. I have not gone back and done this, but this was my original channel here. And this is my original channel. But there you go.
Oh, wow.
That's 21-year-old me.
Wow.
Yeah, it don't look like you.
Talking very ASMR like. And of course,
wow. Yeah,
the relic of the time, and I filmed it on an old digital camera. I'm sorry I cut you off, John. What were you saying?
I just decided to look at my oldest video on YouTube. It was I think it was a review I did for the 07 Bumblebee, the very first one, the Beater Camaro, and that was like 17 years ago.
Good Lord.
Wow.
So I just
my channel.
I just celebrate my 8th anniversary. So how long have all you guys been on? So you're what, 15 years?
11 years for me.
Technically, I might be the longest one on here, which is a sad irony. So here I am, like, it's my 1 year doing this podcast. But yeah, my first video was 2007.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. And then people find out I'm 40, and they're like, "What?" So
it was like when I was conversing with Patriot Prime, and it's like he tells me his apology is. I'm like, you don't look your age, just crazy.
It's all right here.
Well, we talked about it a bit because I said, my daughter's going to be born in February, and if she's on her due date, I'll be 41 when she's born. So I hit him up, and I was like, "Hey, you had your son at 40. What advice did you have?" And he just said, "I just wished I had him one sooner."
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I hope she keeps me young. So hopefully that's the secret sauce is just you got to stay young for your kid. So hopefully I'm the whole kid and heart thing.
12 now wants nothing to do with me, so I'm good for a while.
You kind of get to go back to the before you got to start worrying about the wild teenage years. So but yeah, let's do it. So in lieu of normally I like to do my figure of the week, but I want to ask you guys, I'll go first. Did you guys pick up anything cool this week? Because I'm going to go real quick. I got this guy in the mail today.
I haven't even opened this.
Just been messing with him.
I got
Oh no.
Oh, the Kang toys. I guess that's their Razor Claw, isn't it?
I'm only like one away from completing the Thunder King or Predator King, and that's the Rhino. So I'm hoping to pick that up at TFCon.
Oh, see, those are
the
the last two I'm looking for.
So yeah, this is Walmart online because my local Walmart has nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Oh, nice.
Beep, boop, beep, beep, boop.
My brother just got that and he loves it. I've been
Yeah,
trying
I
to talk him
got
into a YouTube channel, but he won't do it.
You never know when the bug's gonna bite. Well, let's catch up on chat real quick, and then we'll go through some convention stuff. We'll just kind of pepper in some of the regular show stuff as we go. And we've got Cato, the one and only Cato, saying congratulations on a year, homie. Thank you so much. Glad to see you in the chat. We got Winston Leggett coming in saying, "What's up, Zero?" and everyone else in the chat. Always good to see you, Winston. And hopefully I'll see you. Hopefully I'll see you soon because we're going to be trying to get more of these DMV area meetups off the ground. Got Mario Roca coming in saying, "Hi once again, Extra Zero. Good to see you, Mario. Hope you're having a great evening." We got my dude Angry Canadian saying, "Congrats on your thank you." I'll be seeing him at the end of October. He's coming in from Japan, and we're going to go around DC. So, yeah, he lives in Japan, and that's how I got that McDonald's Evangelion set.
Oh yeah.
We've got Princeton Fanlegs 59 saying, "Hello, good to see you. Hope you're having a great night." We got Halius 56 coming in saying, "No way, it's been a year," and that's how I felt when I realized that. I went, "Holy crap!" We've got Carl of RNG saying, "Happy 1 year, buddy." And thank you so much. And I'll be on his channel tomorrow. We'll be talking the Switch 2 game key cards. So if you're into the gaming content, check my Twitter. I'll be posting the link there. We've got Talib 1980 Collect saying, "Hey guys, good to see you, Talib. Hope you're having a good night." We've got Lex, that's my wife, coming in saying, "Oh my God, is that the famous T-Man 978? That man's legend." Oh, and happy 1 year, Extra Zero. Thank you, Lex. So we've got Firetox coming in saying, "What up, toy nerds? Good to see you, Mike. Hope you're having a good night." We've got the Titan saying, "Kato's collection," and giving him a cheers. And that catches us up on chat. So you guys are going to TFCon in less than 3 weeks at this
22
point.
22 days.
22 days. So just over 3 weeks. And we got a couple new guests and pretty exciting ones. We got Vince DiCola, who, composer for the Transformers movie. Travis Arts, I believe Raz recently interviewed him. And the other Ralph Macchio, the Marvel Comics Ralph Macchio.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one because you were in Baltimore, right?
I was, yeah.
Remember I had the white cover issue #1. I was having all the Marvel comic artists sign.
You get to complete that now.
That's going back with me.
Yeah, and he also did work on X-Men as well. So if anybody is an X-Men fan, he was part of those, I believe, the 80s or 90s run. But pretty exciting stuff. Then for this quick note here, Hasbro Pulse confirmed they're going to be at the MCM London Comic Con in October, meaning this is probably where they're going to choose to have, because they mentioned here that the fall convention exclusives will be available for purchase at MCM, so they will probably go up on Pulse at that time. That's, of course, the Nemesis Prime and Air Defense set. And lastly, if anybody is, and this is why I'm not going to Baltimore Comic-Con, my lovely wife and I are going to the Steel City Comic-Con in December in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And you can still get tickets to meet Peter Cullen, Frank Welker, and do the photo op. And if you're a Terminator fan...
Oh, I just saw that.
I'm excited for this convention, and I'm going to bring a chair because I'm like, oh man, this might be my only opportunity to meet Peter Cullen. But I'm seeing all the other guests, and I'm like, man, Michael Biehn, Linda Hamilton, Edward Furlong,
Robert
Patrick, and then if you also, again, like, I don't know, he for most of us he's not our Optimus Primal, but Ron Perlman will be there. And funny enough, he's also doing a Beauty and the Beast reunion with Linda Hamilton. This is going to be an interesting convention.
Wow.
So they're on the circuit right now. I've been seeing this picture of Linda Hamilton looking all shocked and surprised with Robert Patrick standing in front of her. Like,
So you guys are going to TFCon Chicago, and I mean, what? I know Chicago doesn't get the. I mean, I know a lot of you guys were talking about it specifically in the Converse chat. It's not the most exciting convention, but what is it you guys are looking forward to the most this year?
Hanging out with people. That was my main goal in Baltimore because, my first TFCon, it was all about the toys and the voice actors and the artists. And then the second TFCon, that's when I started establishing my channel more.
Yeah.
And that's when I started meeting up with fellow YouTubers, still the toys and the voice actors. And I think, and it's each year, it's kind of the toys and voice actors have kind of went down a little bit, except last year meeting Frank Welker and everybody. But now it's mainly a weekend of me hanging out with my friends and fellow collectors. It's a weekend off. I'm in a place I've never been before. So hanging out with friends, eating some good food, getting some plastic crack, but that's the main thing I'm after, just hanging out for a weekend.
Now, there is a Fogo de Chão there. And I don't know if you know Lance very well, but he was hitting me up and he's like, oh, there's a Fogo nearby. It's a Brazilian steakhouse. So I went with him and Deluxe when we went to Baltimore. And it was the first time I took Deluxe. That was where Deluxe, what was it you ate and said, man, that's like an angel's sperm.
If you have body armor, Chicago's a blast.
I mean, Baltimore and Chicago are kind of cut from the same cloth.
Well, the guy I'm going with has actually been to that area quite a few times. He said the area we're at is going to be good, kind of like Baltimore. That area we were at was good.
The bubble.
It'd be the same way with Chicago.
Yeah.
But the guy I'm going with is like a master at Taekwondo, so I have my own bodyguard.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
That'll stop a bullet. But
it's like reverse Swiss cheese. You get into an area and it's like when they it was the cheese that he ate, the halloumi cheese, and he's sitting there eating. He's like, he didn't know what to say. He was just like stun locked by how much he loved this cheese. Like, man, this stuff's like it's like an angel's sperm. And then like Lance and I are like.
All right, that's new, and it'll never come out of my mouth. But that's a joke there too. Yeah.
How does he know?
Well, that's where we went. I was like, what kind of angels you?
He prays a little bit more different than the rest of us.
He prays a little hard on his knees. Sorry, folks. This one's a little bit more raunchy than
That's like on my channel. What's up?
Right. But yeah, I mean, I wish I could make it. I hope that it comes to Baltimore or really Reston. I love the Reston one. I'm sure Baltimore Reston will probably get like T and Matt. I mean, we'll figure all that out. It's like Chicago, the logistics of it, and then with Steel City, I'm like,
Well, in Chicago, I wasn't even going to go. I was already mindset wasn't going until my friend's like, hey, I was going. I found out you weren't, but if you go, I'll get the room and I'll drive. And I'm like, all right.
And John, you lucked out finding a roommate. I heard.
Yeah. Actually, I did luck out. It just kind of just happened. Like I bought like a day ticket just to go down for the day, and all of a sudden, guys like, hey, do you want to like split the room? I'm like, okay, sure, why not? Yeah. So I mean, I lucked out. It was like I was talking to Jason the other day on his channel. Like, I'm just looking forward to meeting some great content creators and just kind of get out there. Like, I know my channel's not very, very lesser known.
Yeah.
But also, I'm kind of looking for some pieces and here and there. But, like what Jason was saying, it's not just about the toys. It's about just hanging out and just having a good time, meeting new people and making new friends. I feel like my friend list has gotten a lot shorter throughout the years, so I'm looking to make some new friends, meet some new people.
Well, that's what it's all about. I mean, I think going back to what was it, 2013 T that we first met, because it was I want to say it was whenever. No, it had
2013, 2014.
Yeah,
because I know Amiibo were out.
Yeah, and that was the thing. We were going to. So we were both active on the TFW sightings forum, and we found out we worked in like the same area. And his YouTube channel was starting off at the time. And I remember we ended up meeting up. We had like a trade deal or something, and then we ended up meeting up and going into the Toys R Us and walking through it together and looking for stuff together. And it started becoming a regular thing. We became friends that way. You never know how you're going to become friends with people, in the community. And I remember the first time we walking through there, going through the Transformers section and then looking for the Amiibo, because at the time when those came out, they had 3 that were damn near impossible to find, like Marth, the Wii Fit trainer, and the Animal Crossing villager. And we're looking for those, and then the other.
I know I definitely had you looking for a Mega Man.
Yeah, and I found the Mega Man. That's what it was. Is I found the Mega Man, and we met up at the Toys R Us.
I thought I would never find that one.
Yeah, because I found him in Glen Burnie, and then I ended up bringing him to work with me to Columbia and met up. And that was when you still had the T-Van.
Oh yeah.
So. Yeah, it's a good opportunity to go, and I mean, I had a great time at TFCon Baltimore, getting to pal around with everybody and going to, we went to Pickles like twice, and
that place is awesome.
Yeah,
I've never been to one of those restaurants where you just order on an app and it goes right to the kitchen and comes right out. It's just like I wanted to order more stuff just so it would work.
I tell you, like if it does come back now, I've given up drinking, but what we should do is take a road trip if it comes back to Baltimore and take everybody to the Guinness Brewery, because that place does that as well, and they've got really good food. Granted, it's kind of hard to figure out doing the logistics of doing a road trip when everything's right there.
Yeah,
but it's not far down the road. And then there's also a Top Golf within like an earshot of the convention center. They have it. But yeah, that could be if they come back to Baltimore. So we'll fly through. Like I said, I want to pepper in the normal show stuff too. One quick hit. I don't have anybody reporting this, but check your emails. If you got the HasLab Omega Prime, I'm being told by people that Hasbro is sending out shipping notifications to everybody that got Omega Prime. They're sending you replacement Prime. So check your emails from Hasbro Pulse, because they're just sending them out to people with tracking numbers. So I'm sure I'll probably get a message from G Tony. G Tony graciously gifted me one, and I'm so freaking happy and thankful that he did not have to do that.
So, for everybody, or just the people who asked?
For everybody. They're just blanket sending out a whole replacement Optimus. So if yours is fine, the cool thing is your super mode parts, you'll have an Optimus and a super mode Optimus on the same display shelf. So it gives your armor something to do.
That would be cool, especially if they put another gun in there.
What was that?
You're not getting a whole set. You're just getting Prime, right?
I think they're probably giving the whole box. Which is funny, because like when they said that, because I remember we swapped guns and I hit them back. I was like, they sent me this. I was like, hey, the gun on mine's cracked too, just in case.
Yes, so thank you for that. I still appreciate it.
No, you're welcome. I was just like, we're gonna.
I was transforming mine, and you stick that little gun up in Prime for that little third wheel. I forgot it was there, and I pulled him apart, and I just jerked that gun in half, which impressed me. I didn't think I could do that.
My original Optimus from 2001, it never had the wheel in the gun, and I never knew it was supposed to.
Yeah. And when I saw his, I was like, wait a minute, where is it? But I mean, it doesn't. If you didn't know, you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Speaking of primes, other primes, we're gonna do some quick hits here. First up, the More Than Meets the Eye collection is hitting Target, and that includes the slight redecos of War for Cybertron and Optimus and Megatron. In fact, in my local sightings area on TFW, not only that, they found the Wheeljack. I'm not sure if Sideswipe's there or not. Prime, Megatron, and the mass. If you're on the fence for these Masters of the Universe crossovers, which I know a lot of people are just saying, nah, those things are going to hit clearance. I guarantee. If the Ninja Turtles ones hit clearance, these are going to hit clearance. But this is bags of shit.
If they would have done Masters of the Universe vehicles instead of characters.
Well, we'll get to that.
You probably saw that same picture I saw.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that just a sec. So if you're looking for these, check your targets. They're hitting for the fall geek out. I'm not sure if these decos are different or if they probably didn't fix the knees on Megatron. If they fixed the knees on Megatron, I'd replace mine, but I doubt they did.
Now,
But-
that wheel jack you showed earlier, is that just repackaging the ones from the 5-pack?
That's the Devastation deco, and it's got slight shell shading on it. So it's a slightly different deco than the 5-pack one, but I would just stick with the 5-pack one, unless you're doing a Devastation display.
I might get them. I never got the
Save my
5-pack.
money collection right there.
Exactly. I kind of like when they do those, like, hey, we're going to reissue a figure in a wave, because it's like, well, you know, people who missed out get it, and it's one less in the wave that I got to worry about. Now, this is what you were talking about right here.
Right.
And
I think those are just digibashes, aren't they? They're not.
I think these are real, because here we got a mock-up of what appears to be a land shark, and was it the Sky Sled?
That's the Wind Raider.
The Wind Raider, so Man-at-Arms vehicle. I'm not a big Masters of the Universe fan, but again, these are not confirmed. These could be like really elaborate digibashes, because I guess whatever Landshark here is, it looks like a heavy retool of Ironhide from the looks of it, like from the legs at least, or that Stranger Things crossover figure.
Mm-hmm.
And the Wind Raider there, it looks like I don't know what that would be. I can't make heads or tails of whether it's a Titan's Return, because again, these pictures are blurry. But
Yeah. I'm trying to tell if that's a Megatron face on the land shark with horn.
yeah, kind of. It looks more to me like Ironhide with horns, which is, you know, between the arms, the legs. It's hard to tell if it's that Voyager Ironhide, or if it's maybe
Not enough waffles to be Hasbro.
well, you see
I
the
see
waffles here. You see the waffles in the thighs. You see the
That's what
waffles.
they need to do, an Ego collab.
Retool Cosmos into a waffle. So it's possible. It's possible these are real, but I'm sure we'll know in the next Comic-Con. And then also, one of the things I like too is I'm a Masterpiece completionist, but I got one I'm going to be skipping on. We got the reveal of MPG 13, which is a straight up Toon deco of Masterpiece Sound, which again is a great mold. But you know, again, it's like I have the original. I got Acoustic Wave. I have my issues with fans toys, but you know, I see no need for this. Anybody hopping on this one, or
I've got enough sound waves.
interesting?
Yeah,
I'm good with mine.
What were you gonna say, Tim?
I like the way this looks, and if somebody bought it, I wouldn't be mad at them. But just like you, I have Acoustic Wave and the Toys R Us version. I don't need any of them more.
Yeah, and I mean, the Toys R Us one basically just becomes a toy version, because they didn't do anything. Like, if they retooled this to get rid of the leg kibble, I mean, and fix the hips, because the biggest thing is these hips are so dated. The way the hips work. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
I guess
cool.
they figure it's good enough.
I think that's where they're at, and I think there's a lot of people that would just probably buy the reissue.
Yeah.
But
But how much is it going to be?
that's the other question too. They don't have any any price
$300.
on there. Yeah, and that's the scary part too. And he comes with less. He comes with one additional Energon cube. He comes with a pink Energon cube like Sound Blaster had. And he comes with the white one like he's making one, but he doesn't come with the Megatron gun anymore. So yeah, they're taking away an accessory.
Oh,
So
I only have 3 Masterpiece figures. I've got MP1, which my wife bought me when I was in Iraq. Then I've got the animated Megatron, and then I've got Optimus Primal.
So I mean, that's you know, that's just kind of like landmark figures almost.
I thought he was about to say he only has 3 of those Megatron guns, because I think all of the Seekers came with one.
Lord, I
got
lost
a box of Megatron guns.
I lost count of how many I got. I'll tell you, like, I got because I have Sound Blaster, I have Soundwave, I have the not Linkin Park. I have like the Year of the Goat Soundwave that I got really cheap. Then I got all those Seekers. Then I got MPO1. So, yeah, I got a lot of Megatron guns that just are in storage. Next up, this is the only thing at Wonderfest I found interesting, and I don't really collect Flames toys, but they're doing a big convoy. They're doing a Black Arachnia. They're doing a Diatlas. This is what I found interesting. I thought you might find interesting too, T. They're doing alternators Shockwave.
Yes, I was just saying that earlier.
You can even see the clear window right there on the side.
Yeah, like that's a deep cut.
So this is just jazz, right? What Shockwave says.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna retool them, why not? You know.
Yeah.
Which
that was a fun line. I had all those in package.
It was cool packaging.
I only have one left.
And we get a Cyclonus, the IDW Cyclonus, and then they're doing some of the model kits here: Animated Prime, Bludgeon, Bonsaitron, and a regular G1 Megatron. I think these are all.
That Bonsai, or that Bludgeon looks wild. Yeah. Very kind of definitely G1ish.
Yeah. Now,
definitely for sure.
We also have one more update too. This isn't from Wonderfest in particular, but last week I talked about this. This is that Audley AAM Optimus Prime, which is that very heavy Studio Ox inspired Optimus Prime. This was posted by Little Iron over on TFW. We got some pricing for this. Now, I'm not sure what RMB is, but I can tell you somebody did a cost
really
conversion.
Massive bot.
But that's the currency. So the clear one, the deluxe version, like when I say deluxe, I mean deluxe Baldwin version is limited to 999 sets. But the regular one does not have too much of a limit. But this thing is 14 inches tall and is going to be $60.
Wow.
So, yeah, if you want a big old Optimus Prime in the Studio Axe style, you might want to keep an eye on this Audley one. Articulated fingers. He's got the faux hydro. When I saw that, I was like, that thing's gonna be pricey. But just like Blockies and YOLO Park, again, I still can't believe the messing with this guy, the YOLO Park Starscream. What some of these companies are doing, like they're putting Hasbro to shame with the prices. Yeah. So
these damn things are cracked too. They're horrible.
They are.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. While we're paused, I'm going to cut out, go see the wife and kid. I haven't seen them since like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. So I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah.
We'll do this again. I'll get you on mine.
Yeah, I'd love to do another one.
There's all this stuff going on, man. I'm loving this again. I finally bought myself a webcam. I've started going live myself too, because last time I did one was November. So
heck yeah.
Just getting back into the groove.
Heck yeah.
So, thanks again, and you guys have a great night.
Yeah, you too.
Good night, sir.
Well, thank you for hopping on, and we'll do. We only got 3 third-party things, real quick, but we'll knock them out, and we'll catch up with Chad. First one, Fans Hobby. They shared this out. They are doing the Darksaber, so if you wanted that, you can get it. And if this is real, I know Lance is going to be, a toy / game deco of their. Let me answer. I think we're going to get Junkie on Crafts and Builds on.
Was he this color in the game?
Yeah, he was the toy deco in the game, and with this guy being a big bot. Now, granted, I think the Titan class one that Hasbro put out would fare better in this deco, but there's a lot of people that like the toy and Toon Deco. There we go. And we're joined by Junkie on Crafts and Builds. We'll say hi to him real quick.
Hello,
Mike,
everyone.
thank you for hopping on. Glad to see you.
Well, thank you for the invite and stuff, and sorry for the disheveled look. It's late at night. Just doing some stuff down in the workshop, so. But I want to come on to celebrate your anniversary, man.
Thank you.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Good to see you again. Good to be on stream with you yet again. And we're just going to go through the last little third-party bits. Then we're just going to kind of talk about, like, we're going to round out the episode with, like, where the franchise has been and how the year's been with it and what we hope to see, what changes we hope to see. And things we're optimistic for and things that we're pessimistic about. We get this over on Third Party Unlimited. Antoine shared this out. Lucky Cat, who does these cool, super deformed sets. They have a near finished looking Volcanicus set done in the SD style. And I only have one Lucky Cat figure. I have the Lucky Cat Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime, and it's really cool. I got that from Parts Former. And these sets just look so neat. And they're so full of character, and they transform like everything about these, the robot, the beast, and the combined modes.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And what I love is the combiner parts also are configured to make their own little 6th team member or 7th, depending on the set. And there's the that's a pretty good looking Volcanicus. So we got that, and these things come in, I think, relatively cheap. I think for the whole teams, they come in around like $120, which is pretty good considering you're getting 5 fully realized bots with all the parts and pieces.
I like the idea of them.
Just that's where I'm at.
Free, I would take it.
And
I mean, the creativity behind this is just really cool. I mean, they're taking the aspect and they're running with the whole idea of what you just shown between Blockies and Pillow Park and just creating this really cool model. But the fact that they're transformable, is just an added bonus.
Yeah, and I mean, these guys, the aerial bots look like they all come with stands, which is really neat. Just for they give you everything you need to display them how you want. Opening cockpits. Not sure what's going on in there. I guess they're little cats, the little Lucky Cats working on the plane. And cats popping out of the Superion parts. But yeah, there you go. That's a cool looking little Superion, man. I like it. Articulated fingers, even. You can even get like whichever version of the face you want. So, like, these are ones where it's like, man, I live vicariously when somebody like Ben's Collectibles gets them, and he's like, oh, it's really awesome. Brilliant. And, again, I like the idea of them. If I had infinite money, infinite space, infinite time to mess with them. But still, I know there's probably somebody out there that would get a kick out of them. But, yeah, let's we had a kind of a short night producing. Yeah, let's just kind of talk about like where Transformers are, where you guys see it, what you're optimistic about, what you're pessimistic about, and what you're hopeful for. I guess we'll kind of go around the clock. We'll start with you, John. How's the last year for collecting been for you, and what's been the highest highs, the lowest lows, and where do you see it going?
I guess for when it comes to a lot of the third party stuff, I mean, there's that huge competition with MP and third party, and it's like, for example, like a couple of pieces I'm looking forward to, the Dream Stars, Star Toys, Star Toys tracks. I've seen a video on that, and I'm like looking at the comparison between what was the original MP to this. It just shows the development of how MP started into where we're at, and taking those ideas from what MP was at first, and third party's like, let's take that but improve on it. And I think that's one of the things as a collector, like we were talking about the Fans Toy Synthwave. I have that figure myself, and I really do enjoy it. And it's just like, sometimes I look at some of the figures that I have. Don't get me wrong, MP36 is a great figure, still is a great figure, but to me, it just seems like the figure's starting to show its age more and more. So it's like, okay, I mean, we're about to have our fifth Masterpiece Optimus made by Takara, which is their hybrid MP Prime, And so it's like, okay, we have all this recognition for Optimus. Why don't we get something updated or new for Megatron? And it just seems like there's always, ever since when MP44 came out, everyone's like, you had Transformer Element, you had Magic Square, people had the purists for the MP10 mold, and then a KO company is like, hey, let's do the MP10 mold but repaint it as G1 Prime in cartoon colors.
Well, it's kind of funny you mentioned that too. Like,
But,
I remember like before MP36 came out, there was like a, no pun intended, like almost a literal arms race with X-Trans bots, Make Toys. God, there were like a few more. I think there was there a DX9 or a Unique Toys one, but yeah.
Yeah, there was a DX9, the DX9 Megatron, Make Toys, MP36, X-Trans bots, and I mean, I guess the one thing regarding with the Transformers going forward is like, where is this franchise going to go even further down the line? You know, it's like there's no new news regarding with movies, TV shows. It's like, okay, well, can we like get something brand new? Can we like,
something
we had that
really.
What's that?
Something that's impactful, because they haven't officially said that Michael Bay's coming back. But I mean, you have Cyberworld, but they're not pushing it. Like, I can go into Target and I'll see Cyberworld, but there's nothing that's hyping it. It's on YouTube, it's getting views, but there's no like push. There's no lexicon. Transformers 1, they failed to market despite being a good movie. Rise of the Beast was pretty okay, but it didn't hit like the Bay movies did with audiences.
I feel like when Studio Trigger did that entire special, that anime special, I feel like people like maybe anime studios overseas in Japan can probably develop a good story where it could have interest those that are in Japan, and since Transformers originally started in Japan, and then you got those crowds from new and old, and then bring that over here to the States. And you still have that crowd for new and old, because right now anime is dominating a lot of things lately. So why not? If
the Demon Slayer movie just beat Superman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And then I guess the one thing I'm kind of pessimistic about is just like, like you were saying about space. How much space am I going to have? Like I only have like a very small fragmented collection. I've been getting a couple more pieces here and there. Like for example, my Predaking is almost complete. I'm just missing one. There's a couple other figures I would like to pick up. I feel like I'm toward the end of getting toward that end of the collection. Like right now, I'm just trying to get a new Devastator. And the thing is like, how long do I have to wait for these pieces? One piece was ordered back home in Wisconsin, and I got forwarded down here to Kansas, and I still haven't got it yet. It's been over a month. So I have no idea what's going to go on. Like, what happens if I go to TFCon and they have majority of the X-Trans bots for a good deal? Like, who knows what could change between now and TFCon?
Well, the thing I always say is that even if you're feeling like that, and I found this in my time, and I'm sure Mike and T probably have, I don't want to speak for you guys, but there's always something bigger and better on the horizon. So like right now you're like, I want to get this set, but 3, 4, 5 years from now, some company will revisit Devastator, or Hasbro, or Takara Tomy might, and that'll inspire all the third parties to do it yet again. I mean, we're already getting I think the Galvatron from Fans Toys is pretty good, and they're already doing a 2.0. So that's one thing to keep in mind.
And then the next Transbots are doing their own version and take on it too. And so it's like, what can they improve on that was already good? Like, for example, with Galvatron. And now you got these other third-party companies that are like, hey, let's work that into our line to see what would be the best ideal figure for a lot of these collectors. Because you got those that go for the tune, you got those that go for the hyper stylization, you got that, and then you got that happy medium. It's just all a matter of how it's going to go from there.
Or like what we just looked at, that super deformed sets. There is a huge variety. Exactly. Is there anything that you're like really hopeful about? Like, are you hopeful with the new movie potentially coming that like we could, because it's going to be 20 years since the 2007 Bay movie.
Nope.
Good Lord.
It scares me because like.
Yeah, I feel like that if they're going to make a new film, they got to make sure it can appease to the old and newer fans of Transformers. Like, I guess, I consider myself an older fan because, I mean, I've been part of this franchise since the early 2000s with Armada. Dabbled a little bit in Robots in Disguise, knew about Beast Wars, and then, my nephew, he's very young with Transformers himself, and it's like, eventually when they make that movie, how is that going to translate for a newer generation? Because a lot of people that got into Transformers was back in 07. And then you had these newer generations, just keep them going down the line. Yeah. And I'm excited to see what the new film will bring, as long as it's not too much mayhem. If he is going to be behind it.
That's probably what it's going to bring. It's probably going to do that. I think that what they might do, Shia LaBeouf, Megan Fox, Tyrese Gibson and Josh Duhamel have already said they're interested. They give Peter Cullen his send-off as Optimus Prime because, again, I hate to speculate, but his health has been in question, and he's almost, late 80s. Get Frank Welker in there,
Like, if they're going to do like one more Transformers film just to nip everything in the butt, because after last night and the hodgepodge of a film that was, maybe just be like, hey, let's just finally finish it and just have a good story and not have these mixed things like scattered brained all over, like in last night in World War II. You had
they're throwing stuff at the wall to see what stuck.
Exactly.
My last question before I hand it over to Mike: are you more optimistic or pessimistic about where the franchise in this past year? Have you become more optimistic or pessimistic about the direction of the franchise as a whole?
I think I've been more pessimistic because I feel like I'm a little more out of the loop regarding with Transformers news. And then I just want something like, picking up a lot of these third-party stuff. I mean, it always excites me. Like, don't get me wrong, when I finally get Pretty King complete, I'm probably do a live stream and just combine this thing on camera and just kind of scratch my head at it. But I guess the pessimistic part is what Hasbro is going to do with this franchise going forward. Yeah. And especially it's like, even sometimes I go to a store and I'm just, I still browse. The blocky stuff I feel like is phenomenal. That's probably the only stuff I buy at a Walmart is they have new blockies or something come out. But once I go and look at the chug stuff, I'm like, I can see. I guess I've been so saturated with that of the third-party masterpiece genre that I look at that stuff. It's just like it'd be fun for my nephew, but for me, it's like
not quite there. So, Mike, I'll hand it over to you. So I know you were into Transformers collecting, and you focused on mostly G.I. Joe and stuff like Mythic Legions, and a lot of the independent, Valaverse, a lot of the independent toy stuff. So I'll hand it over to you. In the past year, what are the highlights? What are the lowlights been, and where are you feeling with the direction of the franchise?
Yeah. Well, a lot of this, while not being in the collecting space anymore, I've been watching it through you guys, and especially like the news that you present each week. And over the year, I can definitely feel a close to bubble point. And I think I apologize if I missed your name, Jack. Is it Jack? John?
John.
Okay.
But he goes by the Jack Nerd as his
stuttering as well. Okay. But I think what some of the points you really brought up really hit home, and what my thought is be a proxy from other Transformer collectors is that there's a saturation point, and I think you guys are getting close to it. Not only within the third party and fourth party environment that you guys have been talking about. I know within our chat group there was a video showing the latest Ironhide, and it was whelming but overwhelming, I guess, so to speak.
You're whelmed.
Obviously, if you're a fan of that brand, then you are amazingly happy or whatever. But how many Ironhides are we, going to do? I mean, I know with the Takara one's older, but it's still, it had its looks. There's questions about Keith's version and Ratchet that came out. But it's a point where I think you guys said, how many times are we going to buy the same thing? Yes, there's something new coming in the horizon every, that could be 3 years from now, but is that nostalgia still going to be there for those of us in 3 years that are going to start hitting late 40s, early 50s, thinking about other things, future parents, that collecting cards going to change around.
Oh yeah.
So it's definitely going to be an interesting thing that happens from the early stuff of this year going into the next year and such. It was interesting what you said about the chug thing, because they're there, but they're there for the adult collector. I don't see the heavy focus with the kids, even with Cyber World. Yes, it's out there and it's getting views and stuff, and it's not horrible if you go in with the mindset of what it is. But the problem is, I don't know how much of the attention span is going to be retained once that show's done. And there's only so many things that you can do. And plus, if the quality and the prices, because that's something we didn't bring up, or it has not been brought up yet, come into play, is it still going to be a viable brand without the support? Using today's technology, today's methodology of getting content to people. They missed an opportunity when they said there was no sequel to Transformers 1, because I don't know if they didn't realize, or they were blind to the fact of how popular the movie was versus what it brought into the box office.
On streaming, it's found a second life. Yeah.
Yes. So, and that was kind of the same with, Transformers the movie in '86. I mean, you went out and saw it, but then once it came out on VHS, saying that makes me feel old, but
I had it.
That's where, again, I had it as well. And when it came out on Blu-ray, hey, let's get a Blu-ray. Let's get this,
I do where Spike said shit.
So, but I also see a changing coming around as well. And again, John brought it up, is these things. As I'm waiting for my thing to catch up, blockies.
Yeah.
Because these are, this is the new mainstream craze, I think, because I've seen so many non-Transformer focused channels or groups or people that I had no idea they were interested. They're sitting there on live streams breaking out bags of these and just building them, and they're cool. I mean, they're very articulated, they're neat little action figures, they're customizable, so
quality,
that's
and it's
the surprising thing as well. Yes. I mean, how many collectors that we know, that we look at here on this stream, you kind of set it and forget it. That's the kind of the thing. You might put in a pose and then it stays because you don't want to mess up the paint, or you'd never transform it. Where then you start getting these, and also add, we can't buy retail because it's retail and it's chug, and we can't like that one as much. I hated that mentality in the community when I was participating in it. But where you're finding a new way to get involved. I mean, because like my nephew, I gave him a block and we were putting these things together, and he was like just playing with it. So I think the more action figure oriented view is where collectors are going to go, because you invested a lot of money to have stuff sitting on a shelf, and now you really want to kind of play with it a little bit more, and this is an affordable option. Again, you're buying another Optimus Prime, you're buying another Megatron as well. So
what's cool too is
I'll close out
just to add to that affordability, like Transformers, when people wax nostalgic about it, they talk about it being like, oh, you get 2 toys in one. Well, technically 3 toys in one, but you get multiple toys. You get an action figure, you get a vehicle or a beast, and you get a puzzle. But with the blockies, you kind of get those things that you get a building kit. Sometimes it's a little bit like a puzzle, and then you get an action figure out of it. So
And now they're including vehicle mode.
Yeah.
So, but
I just want to add one more.
In regards to, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say, like, yeah, you're absolutely right, because even my nephew and I, even my niece, we started, I was starting to get a little Blockies collection going for us and stuff like that, and they're fun to put together. And it's a great time to kill time, especially with the younger kids. And then usually my niece and nephew, they don't, because a lot of this younger generation, this is all they do all day most of the time. So when you have something like a model kit that is very simplistic to put together, and they're actually using their hand-eye coordination to build something, and that is entirely, that targets the audience into something a lot newer than just being on a cellular device. That's why I try to avoid. I think that's one of the reasons why I still collect is, it's expensive, of course, but at the same time, it's just like, it's something new. It excites me, and it's fun. And it's just like, once I see my niece and nephew next couple of weeks, I'm going to see if I find any Blockies. I mean, I got a couple double Blockies that I got, and just be like, hey, let's put them together. Just stuff like that.
And that's the cool thing about it, is that, like, this is a bridging item, because what Hasbro is not doing, and what we have to accept at some point, is if you want this brand to survive, you have to infuse it with something new.
Yeah.
And the minimum effort of putting on a YouTube show for 5 minutes that's animated is not enough right now.
Agreed.
And I'm curious to hear or see what Bayverse is going to be like in 2025, because it cannot be like it was in 2027 or 2007.
2007,
We're different now.
Yeah.
The Bay jokes and stuff, and that it's not going to fly anymore. So I'm curious on how he's going to do it.
Never know. I was surprised when I saw Naked Gun. I was like, okay, maybe we're back. He knows,
but it's not. But it's not going to be the same intent as, like, you're taking your kid where your young niece or nephew or child may not understand the innuendo of the joke, but when you have a blatant fart joke next to Mama-san grabbing her brownies,
one of my memories of the 2007 movie was coming home, and my son asking me, what does masturbate mean? And I was like, oh,
I remember you told me that.
I forgot all about that, and I was like, oh, he was paying attention.
So I am going to say I'm still hopeful that for the collectors, that it will still be a pleasure for them, but the longevity of it is going to be in question, and there has to be some moves from Hasbro where they actually have to care about the brand, not just what they think they can bring in. And I'll say the same thing for classified series, and the whole thing with Fortnite at the time. Hasbro took advantage of Fortnite when it was popular. I know, T. I said when it was. I know it still is for some people. But G.I. Joe, it is being held up by older collectors right now.
Yeah,
that is the focus. But there's nothing that's really striking to bring in future collectors. Even though they're doing, with Skybound, and that partnership is a godsend to them, because that's an amazing set of comics. But as you said, kids are too busy staring at their phones. They're not reading.
Yeah.
They're not enjoying. They're not engaging with this. So we have to find some way to bring them in and keep them on, or else you're not going to have this brand in a couple years. But that's my soapbox. But I really want to hear what T has to say.
Yeah, what I got to say. One thing the G.I. Joe team is doing is bringing in the service characters, that no-name characters, but
Yeah.
they're bringing them in at the deluxe price, so that's
Mm.
not good for kids. So, but Transformers, the highlights have been being able to collect something like this. Unfortunately, the individual robots aren't all that spectacular, but getting it all together has been fun. And just certain characters, like certain surprises, like they gave us those like minor retools, but then to get something that's almost one for one, that was shocking. And I hope they eventually do that for some GoBots.
He's like a mainline missing link, like the
Yeah.
G1 almost. The G1 Optimus is.
Yeah, I kind of felt like they didn't advertise this one as being G1 style. They made a studio series as far as this mold. But I feel like this is like a missing link as much as this guy. It should have been Voyager. But as far as where they're going, I almost feel like messing with Transformers now, I almost feel like when I was playing Super Mario Odyssey. Like that was such a love letter to the whole Mario universe. As I was getting towards the end, it started making me feel misty-eyed. Like this feels like there was so much great stuff in there. I was like, this feels like the last Mario game ever. And we haven't had a 3D Mario game since.
Yeah.
So like it's almost true, but I know they're going to make one.
Yeah.
But after next year, I don't know if they're gonna. I think they'll probably have just give up on the G1 stuff and finally move on to something new because they're giving us everything. This is like the. At first, they were doing like Combiner Wars and Titans Return. They were like kind of giving us G1 stuff, but modernizing it a bit. But now they're full on cartoon accurate. So I can't see what they can do with this stuff moving forward besides giving us all new things.
I see your comment in there, Mike.
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt
Yeah.
T at all, but I did want to say that, you see that swinging back and forth, but then not just between those two that I mentioned, but also other third-party companies, like I said, with Dreamstar and such, and Star Toys. But it's interesting to see a change in the community between those old battle lines and someone actually admitting that something that Keith has is good, or questioning the articulation, like with Blitzwing, that just came out. It's an interesting thing.
Yeah, I was.
You skipped that.
I
Blitzwing?
skipped Fans Toys Blitzwing because the price. I'm happy with the Star Toys, and I've told so I have a chat where it's T, Mike, and Parts Former, and we talk toys every day, and I came to the realization that like I've replaced several figures in my collection to get the Fans Toys version, and there have been a few where I just haven't been as happy with the Fans Toys version. And I'll give you those figures. First and foremost was the Transform Element Mirage. I replaced that with the Fans Toys version, and it's not fun to mess with. Fans Toys Jazz. I had the Make Toys Jazz, and that's honestly a really, really good. That's like one of the standout third. And I still do have the mold because I have the G2 version and I have their version of Stepper. And the version of Stepper I got came from Pial, which was really cool. So he was a YouTuber. I actually have two figures from him. I have one of them is actually a Fans Toys. I have the Fans Toys Sludge from him, and it was the test shot, or not the test shot version, but the early sample. So I have like a piece that it's different from the mainline release, and it also was his that he reviewed. He sold it on Twitter. But going back to get back on track, so I had that. I had the DX9 6-shot was a great figure, and then everybody's like, "Oh, I got to get the Fans Toys one. Got to get the metallic paint on it," and I got it. And that figure doesn't have proper working elbows, and you can crack the canopy just by transforming it. So I was like, Hoist and Trailbreaker, I prefer the official versions, and the X Transpots ones were great. And I'm like, when I got the Fans Toys, was like, why did I replace the X Transpots versions just for these? I mean, they look nice, they're heavy, they have chrome, but these figures were fine. So I find like this whole thing of, and you know, I could do a whole episode. You go back when Bobby Skullface interviewed Hung to Go, who used to run the group that Nick the Toy Guy runs. He went into the margins for Fans Toys, and prior to certain economic times, they were ripping off the customer base with pumped up margins, and they've kind of been responsible for pumping up some of these prices because Takara Tomy sees it and goes, oh, people are willing to pay this for these figures. So, you know, in this case, like, you haven't seen competition lowering prices. In fact, they've been raising them. Then you see a company like Star Toys come out and put out this fantastic Blitzwing. And I got that Blitzwing from TF Safari for $85 when it first came out. I had coupons and there was a sale. But I'm like, I love this Blitzwing. It's fun to transform. It handles well. Why should I replace it?
What was the company that made that?
The Blitzwing? It was you're asking who made the Blitzwing that I like?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
No, who made the that blaster and the Crimson Wings?
The blaster and the Crimson Wings.
Deformation Space.
Yeah.
Information.
Yeah, that was really cheap, and they were really good.
And then we see what Magic Square's doing with their combiners, all of their Bruticus pieces. They're great figures, and they're like a third of the price of a Fans Toys, you know. And it's like,
do you guys see the? Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to ask. Do you guys see the FOMO for Fans Toys craze actually winding down in collectors?
Not for a while. I think I think what the Fans Toys thing is that we have, and again, I'm not throwing shade at anybody, but I think some of the Fans Toys promoters, the biggest fans, are people that are pretty well off in life. I'm not saying they're rich, but I'm saying they can stomach it for a while. And a lot of the FOMO is created by a lot of these people that get the figures early, and they kind of view them as like a status symbol of their collection. And I think while they're still able to do that, you're going to see the FOMO there because people have this. They want to keep up with the Joneses, you know.
I gave up on the Joneses. I didn't even pre-order Blitzwing, and there's several other Fans Toys. Like the last Devastator part I got, I waited for it to be cheaper on Show Z because I can't agree with their price. Once they made that Cerebros over $200, I was like,
yeah,
it just turns into a box with a face.
Right. Where's the masterpiece? No, yeah. And that's like we were talking about, no, Mike, you were talking about the Ironhide. I have the Takara Tomy Ironhide. I'm an official completionist. Now I am gonna, like, the only way I'll get that Soundwave is if it's on deep discount, and I sure hope it does, because with Takara Tomy, I think people are willing to vote with their wallet. And if I see that sucker for like cheap enough, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll get him to fill out the ranks, because it's just, that's how I collect. But I don't need him because I'm happy with the Toys R Us version, and that looks good enough. Where actually I don't have the Toys R Us one. I have the original Japanese one, which again was a Toon Deco. But with the way things are going, I think people just really need to vote with their wallets more than ever. Because going back to these figures, these are under $5, and you get a tremendous, and it's great plastic, good quality. We talked about YOLO Park. We talked about Audley, that big 14-inch tall Optimus Prime at $60. And then YOLO Park even has budget lines for these figures. They have ones without die-cast for people that just want to have the representation on their shelf.
And they're still good.
Yeah, they come with the basics. And I think that's.
So when is that? Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say, when is that line going to be put in the sand for potentially you guys with the mainline figures? I mean, I know like between the scarcity at times, or like the way that say Sea Spray,
yeah,
retro Sea Spray sold out so quickly. but now they're raising prices. I think remind me what the price of a Voyager scale is right now?
That is $43. That's already the line for me. I could still do deluxe and leader, but that Voyager price is like, come on.
The only thing they're getting out of me for that is I am completing the 13. And to go back to like what you were saying, Mike, earlier, like what are they doing to do, new and interesting wise with the main line and with the 13 primes? Those are figures I wouldn't get in Masterpiece scale because they probably won't make them in Masterpiece scale. I'm fine with that, and I'm like committed to that. So it's like, okay, you'll get me, but at least thank God Walmart has been keeping the old prices for now. So I've been pre-ordering through Walmart, but eventually Walmart will give. They'll have to. They can't be a loss leader on everything.
All right.
They
did that for a while when which was it? Dark of the the first dinosaur movie.
Age of Extinction, yeah. Because that was when we saw that. Because Toys R Us got it first, and we were in Toys R Us going like, Jesus. And at that point, it went from like $10 to $14, and we were like, "What's now?" We're in an era where you sell $14. Would be like, "Oh, hey, that's a
deal."
Yeah.
Well, that's the biggest thing. I remember back in 07 when deluxe was like $10 a pop, and then nowadays they're so high up now. And even during the Dark of the Moon era, you're that slight inflation in price. You still like, oh, okay. This is the new, like, okay, there you go. And yeah.
Now,
they're still getting over on us with the inflation thing.
Yeah. Well, because they'll inflate the cost, but they cut the features. And that's where I get the most frustrated is it's like, wait a minute, you've done cost saving stuff, but then you're not using it as a buffer or kind of, hey, we're going to take away a little bit. We got to charge a little bit more. But if we get into dire times, like I was talking to people today, I was like, because like with I also do gaming podcasts, and right now things are getting bleak, especially with Microsoft. And I'm like, I remember a time where like during the Great Recession, when things were rough for the American consumers and the global marketplace, and you had Subway doing $5 footlongs, you had loyalty programs with every shop, every place wanted your business. How can we get you in here? How can we keep your business? Now they're like, we'll just charge you more. And that dam is going to break. When does that bubble burst?
And they rather fire everybody than lower the price.
I think the difference now is you have things like Klarna and you have things like Affirm, and those are handy. I have used Affirm. It's like, this makes it a little bit more digestible. But you have some people that have used them and they're willing to go deep into debt for their hobbies. And I think that's also dangerous too. And we know people like that in the fandom. And you see a lot of people who, they can't afford something, but they have this mentality, I got to keep up with the Joneses. And I think there is going to be a big economic bubble that's going to burst for a lot of consumers because they're trying to keep up appearances now, but it's going to bite them in the butt. And I think that you're going to see a lot of these companies that make luxury items realize that rather than trying to make things accessible and go at a good pace with the consumer base, they got greedy, and it's going to cost them.
AN4
it's just like
I'll let John go.
Yeah, it's just like, recently I got the King Toys Razor Claw. Of course, I bought it off eBay, because, you're always trying to work within your budget, work within your means. And then I remember someone was selling a different other version for this guy for like $5,000. I'm like, I'm not paying that. Are you insane? And luckily, when I was able to find this figure for a reasonable price, I'm like, reasonable price? And I gave the guy an offer. He took the offer, and then he mistakenly thought, when I bought it from him, he mistakenly thought about something else. And then therefore he gave me back my shipping, which is really weird. So he refunded me my shipping, but I still got the figure anyway. So it's just like, dude, there was nothing to worry about. I was just asking when my figure, but when are you going to ship my figure and stuff like that? Because, it's just like, I bought it. I like to know when it's coming. It's just one of those things. And it's like, for example, when you're like, working within your means.
Yeah.
I get that, when we buy from overseas, like it's generally a little cheaper than it is here when they bring that product from that country into the States, like at Big Bad Toy Stores, TF stores, which are the main two for third-party Mayfax, SH Figure Arts, mainline Transformers, Hot Toys, like the list goes on. And then so that's why it's like you're paying double that price when you could just get it from overseas, and then it's still you're just paying for extra shipping, and that's it.
I've said this a bit too, and again, like I understand that, like a lot of the places that are domestic, like I love Toy Dojo, and Eddie is great, Agabus is great, Hanny's great, and I understand that they have overhead and that they have employees to pay. But I do see a lot of sites, and unfortunately I'm going to throw shade on the Chosen Prime and TF Source, and I don't care if that ruffles any feathers, but I do see some predatory stuff come from some of these sites where they're not doing things that would retain business, and they're doing things where they're overcharging customers intentionally. Already TF Source up their prices, and I'm sure that they have loyals. I mean, my wife called them and they were very nice to her, like when she was trying to get me something for my birthday years back, and it left an impression. But I'm looking now on their site, and I'm seeing that the leader Soundwave $64.99, and he's still soliciting for regular price. They have Alpha Trion, the Age of the Primes one, which again had already shipped and solicited to retailers. They're selling him for $40. And then, Lance, who's a good friend of mine, and he runs an independent game shop. We've talked about his margins before. Obviously, Mike and T, you guys are friends with Jason, who runs All Time, and we all know Max. And yet All Time is a great mom and pop business, and they're not they're adjusting their prices by like $1, and yet they're still successful. Yeah. And they don't, like, if you order something from the Chosen Prime, I think their threshold now is, I believe, $200 before they even offer you shipping. But like Eddie with Toy Dojo works with Shopify and does things to keep the shipping costs down. Whereas, like, I have a feeling with the Chosen Prime, they're probably pocketing some of the shipping costs and then turning around and using like a somebody where they're getting a discount from. But again, it's all part of being smart. As again, as a retailer, you can maximize your profits, but as a consumer, you can be smart. But the problem is, if you're a retailer doing predatory practices, it's only a matter of time before your customer base wises up and starts conversing about, their competition is a thing. And I think a lot of these companies, be it an independent retailer or a company like Hasbro, have forgotten about that. And, when I'm seeing like what Playmates is doing right now at the Power Rangers line, and they're selling the quick change Power Rangers for $10 a piece. They're basic action figures with a gimmick. But if you're in a store, and I think a lot of the people that are having kids right now are probably in their, probably most of them, because again, demographics have skewed, but they're probably in their late 20s to early to mid 30s. And they're going to go through a store and they're like, oh my God, Power Rangers, those are a thing. And they're going to get $10 for this. It's just like what I had when I was a kid, and they're going to get that for their kid. I've seen them Masters of the Universe line sell pretty well. I do agree with what you guys were saying about the fact that we do need fiction, and I think the toy companies they've been foolish not to do. Everything's focus grouped. They're not willing to take the risks of, let's put something out with a catchy song that markets the product, that inspires imagination. No, we're going to assume all kids are the lowest common denominator with no attention span whatsoever, and make a YouTube show with a bunch of video game buzzwords in it that appeals to nobody. But
to circle back on the one comment you had with retailer, is something we're seeing here that we're going to get a chance in the Maryland area to see in a couple of weeks, is the resurgence of Toys R Us, a dedicated toy store that has been lost for a while. That's definitely going to make an impact not only on those that have been relying on online stores, but also those mom and pop stores like All Time. Yeah, so now you're going to go.
I hear bad reports.
You hear what, Tick?
What's that?
Rube the Great, his Toys R Us already opened in Texas. It's like actually in the mall. We've been wondering whether it's going to be out actual store at Arundel Mills or in the mall. He said it's in the mall, and the prices were crazy, like $40 McFarlane toys and whatnot.
Well, they said it's a flagship store, so I'm cautiously optimistic.
Because they used to be high before.
Yeah.
So we'll find out.
Yeah, I guess for me, it's just like I said it last week when I talked about them opening up one here. I'm like, one of the things when I first found out I was having my daughter was like, again, you go through different emotions when you're going to be responsible for somebody. I was like, it's kind of a bummer that she's never going to get to experience the stuff I did when I was a kid. And then when I heard about that, I kind of lit up a little bit, and I'm like, I hope this thing works, because when she's 4 or 5 years old, I want to take her there, and I really want her to have like the experience. Like, I mean, at least the Lego store is a thing, and you can get hands-on with stuff there. But like, I just, I remember going to Toys R Us as a kid and just going in there, and there was stuff you could get your hands on, but there was just endless toys. And of course, I'm old enough to remember Lionel Kitty City in addition to KP. But just to go into a place where it inspires wonder, and there's just like an infinite, like, I mean, when you guys were kids and you walked into Toys R Us, I mean, did you have the same impression I had when you were little? Like, this place is endless.
I don't have one. I don't think I was taken there.
No.
I don't remember them until I was a teenager.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I went to speaking of local toy stores, I went to that opening up in Frederick for Eternia Dreams, and I took my nephew with me. And it was that experience like you're just talking about, Jordan, where he was just like, there's toys here, and we're just walking through, looking through, finding things, and he's just, it was the sensory overload of main thing. But then he started zeroing in on things that he knew and liked. So I mean, he was going to the Turtles right off the bat. He saw Transformers stuff. So it was really neat to kind of have that experience with him.
To let the Titan know, that's the route we're going.
And film her in Toys R Us so she can be like, hey, look, you were in Toys R Us before they closed again.
Now, on my private, we've talked about, like, on my private Facebook, we'll have pictures of her, but I'm not going to put. I don't want to be the parent that puts their kid on the internet, So
Oh no, I meant film her for yourself.
For myself, yeah, for sure. So, but if anybody watching is like, oh, I want to see that, no, I'm not going to put her on the internet until, like, I'm not going to put her on the internet. To be honest, I don't want to be.
Well, she's not going to be your profile picture, and that's the only profile picture you have is your kids. No, that's always weird to me.
Yeah. It is. I'm like, there's one time my father-in-law did that. He put my nephew on there, and I was just like, you got young. But yeah, I want her to have those experiences. I want other kids, because I guess what I'm getting at too is like, there's the whole argument that those shows we grew up with were you can make the argument that like, oh, it teaches kids to be consumers, this, that, and the other. But there's also a good side effect. I think all of us on this panel have it, where how much imagination did it inspire? How many times did you go into a store and like, you can't have everything, but you'd go into this toy store and you'd look at all the possibilities, and then you'd be like, oh yeah, I saw this, and I'm going to make my own out of Play-Doh. I'm going to make my own out of paper.
I've made Transformers out of lunch tickets.
Yeah, and
I mean, I give my nephew a cardboard box, and he looks at it dumbfounded. Me, I was like, here's a base, here's a ship, here's everything else. I mean, that because, being an only child, not only did you not have endless resources to go buy whatever you wanted, but you had to entertain yourself. Yeah. And that doubled down on your creativity and knowing what, you like and such, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, and it just, imagination's so important, because in an era, again, when we opened up the episode, I was talking about AI, but I think creativity is going to be far more important than it's ever been in an era where AI can do things in, a blink of an eye. And in order to stand out, you're going to have creativity and problem solving skills. And I think people undervalue toys when it comes to that. And, with Transformers, they're always special to me because Transformers, as corny as it sounds, like I do have this as a novelty, the one step changer Orion Pax, because a lot of people were talking about how cool the transformation was. But when the studio had, or the shareholders, the PR talkers started talking about, we want to go back to this really simple stuff. Kids don't like solving problems. And I'm like, wait a minute. Is it that they don't like solving problems, or do you think that's the case? Do you have this, what type of kids are you bringing into your focus groups? And they need to get back.
Save money.
Well, yeah, they want to save money, and they want to maximize profits, save money, and they want to mitigate risks. And when it comes down to it, this entire brand was built on risks. And I think that's kind of sad that we've gotten to this point where they want to play it safe and they don't want to introduce new characters. And the kids shows that they do are all very focus tested and sterile. And there's no passion like there used to be. And you can go in and talk about how there's so many plot holes and corniness in Transformers and G.I. Joe, but there was so much character. There was so much imagination. And I got to tell you, like, one of the best people that I talked to at TFCon Baltimore was Charles Michael Hill, because when he was talking about the episodes that he wrote, the man's actually a fan of the show. He cared about what he did. When I talked to Mark Watts, the guy that did the artwork for the G1 boxes, he actually had a lot of passion in his art, and he was going around and looking at a lot of the third-party boxes and the art and just really admiring it. You have to have people that are very passionate about what they do, and I think that's the reason why we see a lot of things thriving, and people don't understand the runaway success of it, because there's creativity and there's passion, and that's where I think a lot of the third-party stuff has really found an audience, because some of these guys are engineering things that should have been impossible, yet they made it work. When you get a Unique Toys, like, I don't like the Michael Bay movies, but I love the Unique Toys Bayverse stuff because there's somebody that made it work. They took an impossible design and they made a transformation that's somehow doable, somehow intuitive, somehow fun. And that's the magic of Transformers. I mean, back in the early 80s, it was like you had kids that they had robot figures and they had cars, they had Hot Wheel or Matchbox, and now all of a sudden, like, wait a minute, somebody figured out how to make a Hot Wheel or a Matchbox or a military vehicle or a plane turn into a robot. It was that creativity, that drive, and
that's I think it's like you're right, Extra, is that the creativity for Hasbro right now, they're not willing to take risks.
Yeah.
And then that's why, as a content creator, like, I don't know what's going to hit. I don't know what's going to stick when I make a new stop motion or whatever. But when I get out there, I try to take the risk and see if it's something somebody can enjoy.
Well, the important thing,
and
not to cut you off, but the important thing is when you do your stop motions, the number one thing I notice is you're having fun. And for the people that are taking risks, that's part of passion, is you need to have fun when you do it.
Oh yeah, it's like taking risks on when I was working on my Transformers Marvel crossover. I mean, I'm not done with the third one yet.
Yeah.
But when I do, I realize of how much things have improved regarding with having sets, having work experimenting with green screen, and then when you told me about CapCut when I did that drift stop motion with Ocular Max Stray, I had a lot of fun doing that, and I have making a sequel or follow up to it. I have an idea in my head that I want to see how I can translate that and toss something new and different into it.
I guess we'll start winding down here a little bit, but I want to go back to one thing that Mike touched on, and that's Skybound. And we'll kind of do what we think could save it real quick. We'll try to wrap it up in the next 10. But Skybound, I think, has been the best thing to happen to Transformers in probably since Transformers Prime, I think, arguably. And one of the things I noticed about it is when I first started reading, and I was like, wow, they really get Optimus Prime. And I had the opportunity. It was one of the first videos I did on the channel where I went and met Daniel Warren Johnson at a signing. And I had the opportunity to talk to him a little bit on camera and a lot off camera. And that's a guy that loves Transformers, and he knows what makes the characters, and he's a fan. And you get somebody like Chris Cox taking over Hasbro, you know, coming from Microsoft. He's just jumping from, he's the guy's a skinwalker. He's just jumping from opportunity to opportunity. And I think that's one of the problems we have with corporate culture is the passion's not there, the fun's not there. And it's rare you get somebody like, you know, again, I know there's problems with his products, but when I listen to Todd McFarlane talk, the guy has a lot of fun and he's passionate about like what he's talking about. And, you know, I have problems with his products and I'm not a collector of his products, but I do know that he actually at the end of the day cares about what he's doing. And I think that's the secret ingredient. I think if like Robert Kirkman, who also, I get the impression that he actually really does care about what's going on in this Energon universe. And he wants to see it be successful because he knows they have something special and it's fun. And if they take the momentum that Invincible had, because Invincible was one of those things that in the last 5 years has become kind of cultural lexicon. You know, you took a relatively unknown superhero and now everybody knows Invincible and Omni-Man and, you know, Adam Eve and those characters in the fights. And they created something that everybody knows that was accessible enough on Amazon Prime Video. And on top of that, it didn't assume that the audience had a low attention span. And there's a thirst and a hunger for Invincible merchandise. And I think if they lean in on that comic, that is the missing link to bring in that new audience and make a PG-13 kind of cartoon. They don't have to target young kids, but target younger and tween kids to build that brand new audience to make the G1 characters fresh and resonate.
Like you just said, the last one that really gave a lot of serial storyline and development. Oh, I have actually two examples. Transformers Prime, like you mentioned, didn't treat or dumb down the content. It made things, there were stakes. You know, there were Transformers that were mutilated by humans, and their core was weaponized against the Transformers themselves. That's heavy when you really think about it like that. And another one that really helped develop a lot of things, especially as the series continued on, was Transformers Animated. Now, yes, the style was kind of like a lexicon of, yes, we want to highlight the toys because of the stuff, because it's going to be made for kids. But as we go along into that storyline, there were a lot of stronger themes and a lot of really deep development for these characters.
You know what else too is, unfortunately, he's passed away. But you read into Derek J. Wyatt, and that man was a huge fan, and he had a lot of respect for the franchise, and he was taking it new places. Nope. I don't know if Mike's internet cut it. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm still here.
Okay. Yeah.
I had to drive by.
Oh, it's okay. We also got to talk about Beast Wars too. That was a huge risk, and that was so many of the modern mythos come from Beast Wars.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah,
I think to save it, they need to put a new Transformers series on the main streaming service that everybody has, Netflix. My nephews watch some stuff on Netflix over and over and over again. They even watched the K-pop Demon Slayer thing over.
That's a phenomenon that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I just thought that they're putting them on Fortnite.
Yeah.
But if they put another show on that's actually good on Netflix, like the one on Earthspark was probably good, but I couldn't watch it. So yeah. And make like new characters and whatnot.
And it's a shame too. I know John touched on the Japanese needing to do something, but I'm sorry, like Cyberworld's okay, but Wild King is terrible. Like, that's the worst Transformers anything to come out of Japan. I know some people think it's fun, but like it is the lowest budget. They don't even have lip sync.
Wow.
You know. But
they look like toys being hit with each other.
Yeah, and it's just again, it's like I'm surprised to see the Japanese coming out with something that's like, yeah, we're gonna assume the people watching this, the kids watching this, have like next to no attention span. So,
yeah. I mean, it like circling back with what you're saying with Skybound. I mean, we see at least within the brands, there is some adoption. There is some companies that are trying to adhere. I mean, within the Transformers world, you're getting a lot of third-party companies that are seeing the popularity and, you know, incorporating that into whether it's add-on kits for Hasbro products, or they're making their own. I mean, Legends is another item which I don't know if you touched on earlier, but I mean, over the past couple years, I didn't touch
on Legends.
I mean,
but
that has been,
yeah,
that scale is coming into more into play because again, space and cost. Though I say cost with an asterisk because those prices are going up as well.
Yeah.
But you know, G.I. Joe, we see a little bit of back and forth where at least it appears that the classified team is talking to Skybound. We see a lot of the modern takes incorporated into the storyline. Most recently within G.I. Joe, you know, they brought in Raptor. And then, you know, issue 2 of Duke, that's when they introduced Starscream and made him be that mean, you know, that fearsome robot that, you know, makes humans want to destroy them or, you know, eliminate them from the planets because they are a threat. So it's an interesting thing, and I'm curious to see what happens with issue 25 when Kirkman takes over.
Yeah,
and
we've also gotten,
as we go into the Quintesson War.
Yeah, we've also gotten iconic takes, iconic fresh new takes. I mean, how many people are obsessed with Prime with Megatron's arm, or Starscream mounted to a hiss, or Megatron missing an arm with his eyeballs hooked into Laserbeak? You know,
exactly. Those 3 examples that you just stated are now ingrained into the new, you know, canon that collectors young and old are now going to go back and say, no, it's,
right? They
is
resonate.
It going to be? Is it Toon related? Is it Toon related? Is it going to be Hyper, or is it going to be Energon now?
Yeah,
those are the type of conversations you start hearing. You know.
Yeah, I think you know, the thing that leaves me the most hopeful is Skybound, and the fact that like there are people with passion, and you know, I gotta give credit to Mark and Evan too, like Evan Brooks and I forget Mark Meir. Those 2 designers at Hasbro, I think, are some of the best designers that the company's ever had, and I think that the biggest tragedy of those 2 gentlemen is the fact that they have to deal with Hasbro's cuts. You can tell that there's times where they really want to slip stuff in, and you listen to them talk on panels, and they want to do new things and they want to innovate, and they have to deal with the corporate limitations. And you know, they also are willing to work with the Japanese designers. And another thing that leaves me hopeful too, that we haven't touched on at all, is this little brand out of Korea called Metal Card Bot. And if somebody starts importing those and selling them at a price that's beyond competitive, because I think that's one of the things that's missing. And I've heard that the Metal Card Bot show is actually pretty decent. It just needs to be localized. You know, I think back to the early 2000s, which was kind of like the last time. And I you know, again, in the gaming podcast I talked to some Zoomers. You know, one of my buddies was born in 2001. And so I have a different perspective from him, and he talks about Yu-Gi-Oh! And Beyblade and Ninjago and all this stuff that I was too old for at the time. And the thing that stands out to me the most is that was the last era where things really had competition, and it wasn't like, well, this is a legacy brand and it gets to stand on its legs because of that. Another thing we saw was Cartoon Network turning into the Teen Titans Network and not taking chances on anything new that could have had a brand associated with it. It was either somebody knew somebody that drew in the CalArts style, or you had to be a legacy brand in order to get anything. And, you know, we saw one of the best He-Man cartoons go to pasture. We saw one of the best Thundercats cartoons get put out to pasture. You know, and even Renegades too. I know a lot of people liked Renegades, so that came out during Prime. I think that had its own marketing blunders. But I am still, above all, I am still optimistic that it will find a way, because there are still passionate people that want it to succeed.
You're right.
Angry Canadian even coming in saying, Ninjago was something else when it first started. I remember the hype.
Oh yeah.
But for me, I was too old. I was like, an action show with Lego, not my cup of tea. I want something a little bit more grounded.
Ben 10 was super popular.
Yeah, Ben 10 was another one. That was like one of the last ones. And again, Cartoon Network put that out the pasture. They I don't know why they had to reinvent the wheel on it when people liked the fact that the series kept progressing. And I think people wanted an adult Ben, you know, because he went to the teenager step. You get glimpses of him as an adult. And then they just, we're going to reboot it. And we're going to make it like really, really kiddie. AC saying, that was my error. I don't care to date myself. Well, I date myself quite frequently. Sometimes you got to let it happen. But this is a good place to wrap it up. Me
and Mike saw Transformers when it first aired.
Yeah, I was the, so Lance and I were a little bit younger than Lance has just turned 40. And I was fortunate enough to have, because I was kind of like bounced between my biological mom and my grandparents, older family, well, not older family friends. Well, yeah, they were older family friends that were, they were growing out of it. So I got a lot of Transformers as hand-me-downs. The show was syndicated a lot. And then when Beast Wars came in '96, I was like, oh. And at the time, computer generated animation was a huge novelty. I was like, oh. And in '96, I was 11 years old. So I was like, hey, you're supposed to be getting too old for toys. But no, it sunk its hooks right into me.
Yep.
But yeah, you guys got to experience it at its peaks. So
every afternoon, run home from school.
Yeah.
You throw the book bag down, you turn the TV on just to catch it.
Yeah. I mean, I remember being on a road trip. It was my grandparents. I want to say their 25th. No. Maybe it was their 30th wedding anniversary. And we went to the Grand Canyon in a road trip. And I remember going into Toys R Us in 1989. And yeah, I can remember back to when I was 4 years old because I'm some sort of special autistic. But I remember begging my grandfather to buy me Power Master Optimus Prime. And I remember him getting up to the register and realizing this is $30. And nowadays, you think about it, but you're just $30 for inflation, baby. Ooh. It's pretty big money in '89, but he bought it for me. And I was happy to have a brand new Optimus Prime. And then it felt super, super legit when G2 ran around and Power Master Prime was narrating the story. And I had him. So.
Yeah.
Very cool.
But before we wrap up, before we let everybody know where to find you guys, I want to thank Patriot Prime for hopping on. It's always a pleasure to get to talk with him. And if you're going to TFCon Chicago, go up to the man, give him a high five, hug, or handshake. He'll let you know what he's going to give you. But super personable dude. And Jason, I thank you for coming on. And if you tuned in late, would appreciate it if you'd give me a like if you like the discussion tonight. And if you're not already subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button, ringing that notification bell if you do, because I don't have a dedicated content upload. I'm trying to dabble more with shorts. I might do one for Rat Trap tomorrow. We'll see. But also, too, hype this video if you liked it. If you're watching me on the replay, make sure you leave a comment and let us know what you thought about the discussion. If you have any thoughts on what we talked about tonight and where you're feeling the franchise heading in general. And again, thank you to everybody in the live chat over there. I really appreciate all of you that have come in and hung out. This makes the show, and I like making you all a part of the conversation. So we'll go round table and wrap it up. John, the Jack Nerd, I know you are currently in a little bit of a career, I guess, intermediary thing right now with being in the service and relocating. And I know you've been doing some lives, but let the folks know where they can find you and all about your channel.
Well, Jack Nerd here. Fanboy Studios is the name of the channel where I do stop motions, live streams, and eventually I might try to figure out how to get back into podcasting. I might just do my own solo shows.
We had some fun on those.
It's in the back of my head. And maybe I'll eventually have Extra Zero, maybe Junkie on, and T-Man eventually have, if they would like to be guests in the foreseeable future. I would appreciate it. And especially, I remember a couple years ago before I had to jump over the pond where Extra was being extra with the roasting. So,
we did some live memeing during the show. It was a good time.
Yep. And I think this is the first time we've actually like caught up like this in a long time too. On top of that, so it's actually good to see you again. Also, nice to meet some new faces. This has been a great time. But yeah, you can find me at just type in Fanboy Studios. Look for a logo with half Autobot, half Decepticon. I had a friend of mine actually design that for me. But and drop on in, subscribe. I'm always looking for. I always every time I say when I jump on, do my little live streams, I always say you guys are the lifeblood of the channel, and just like what's that?
You're real close to 1,000 subscribers, so.
Almost, like pretty crazy. But that's all I got.
Cool. All right, Mike, how about you? I'm sure most people probably know, but for those that don't.
Well, first off, you got to give me a second because I got to subscribe here. So now I'm into watching stop motion stuff. Yeah, this was getting onto YouTube and stuff. Part of it was thank you, Jordan. To know you through the Transformers community and just finding people within the local area as you as well, T. Just getting in there and actually becoming friends and enjoying this and having good discussions. I kind of branched and did this, and I'm actually my third year anniversary for the channel is going to be on the 6th. So, but I have my own YouTube channel. I do impression videos. Not really toy hunts, but I go to different conventions here on the East Coast and try to go through those. I get to sit next to this guy, T-Man, every Thursday, and talk toys and other items, as well as have chances to interview creators and stuff within the toy community. It's a really, that's the coolest part I get to do with this hobby is just talk to those that are making stuff and just as passionate as we are here on this panel. So, but other than that, Instagram, Facebook, that's where you'll find me.
Right on. And for those that don't know where to find T-Man 978,
you got a problem. Type T-Man 978 without any dashes or hyphens, 978, and you'll find me on anything. But if you like Transformers, I like Transformers, and this was the last thing I reviewed. I just got this, so prepare to see this. I put all of them together, so it's going to be a recap on all of the Insecticons.
Did you find Shrapnel's gun?
I did not find Shrapnel's gun. It could be anywhere. I've moved around my stuff so much in the past few years.
And it'll be somewhere stupid.
Yes, very stupid. But yeah.
Lance has known me since 2003, so I've known Lance since I was in. What's that?
That's it, forever.
Yeah, I've known him since I was still in high school, which is kind of crazy to wrap my head around. I graduated in 2003. Actually, I might have known him in 2002. I just can't remember whether it was 2003 or 2002. 2, but it's been a long, long time. But that's going to wrap up tonight's 0 hour. Of course, we've gone almost 2 hours, but again, this is great discussion. Again, I thank all of you guys for joining me and helping me celebrate a year doing this. And yeah, as I've mentioned,
didn't you gain 200 subscribers?
It would be nice. It'd be nice if I got up to 500 and then suddenly I could start monetizing a little bit, get restreamed to pay for itself.
Since you started over again.
Since I started over, I've hopped up to about 300 subscribers. So let me check. I'll let you know what my live count is. So again, if you're here watching me and you're not subscribed for whatever reason, I'd appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. So yeah, I'm at exactly 300 subscribers. I need 200 to go before I can get monetized. But still, I thank you guys for hitting that subscribe button. And I wouldn't be able to do it if people didn't watch. So thank you. And yes, I am having a kid, but I will still be doing the show. Whether I'm still, again, I'm probably going to have to scale things way back to just focusing on the MP collection, because that is my main display, for better or worse. That's what I'm committed to. But I'll still be here to talk toys and give my opinions and thoughts and talk through the news and do stuff like this. And I probably will focus on talking about the stuff that I already have a lot more as well, because I think as collectors, we neglect that a lot. But yeah, I still will be doing the show even with the life changes coming up. Schedule may be a little bit rocky at first, but I plan on doing. Hey, we got Boss Hog in here. Thanks for showing up, Boss Hog. Always a pleasure to see you, my friend. But yeah, that's going to do it for tonight's episode. And again, just thanks to everybody for allowing me to be able to do this for a past year. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to many more years of doing 0 hour. So thank you guys, and I hope everybody has a great week and weekend ahead. And until the next one, 0 out.
Yeah.